Have you noticed lately that you've been experiencing sort of this upheaval of old emotion and remembering past things, some maybe not so pleasant, that you actually thought you got over, but all of a sudden it's here again? Or have you found your moods going crazy? One minute you're feeling good and the next minute you have zero patience and you're very angry or irritated? Well, you're not losing your mind and you're not rolling backward. What's going on in terms of this huge shift of consciousness in the planet is something called an energetic purge. It's sort of like the equivalent of a roto-rooter in old and clogged pipes, only the pipes are our nervous system, our subconscious mind, our energetic bodies, things that got stuck, trapped, or locked in our ribs or in our chest or in our unconscious that we haven't really processed, we just stuffed, are all coming to the surface. And it's not for us to review, believe it or not. And goodness sakes, it is not for us to relive. So please don't go there. It's for us to release, to move out of our energetic systems so that we can be more present, that we can level up to a higher frequency, that we can move into a higher dimension of who we are. My name is Sonia Choquette. Thank you for tuning into my channel. We've been talking for quite some time now about the important shift that's taking place on our planet, that is taking place inside of us. This shift requires that we begin to live in the world differently, but more importantly, that we begin to experience ourselves in the world differently. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. I believe your spirit led you here, your inner guidance. And if you're coming back, welcome back, because we are all in this together as we shift and heal and elevate and wake up our intuitive faculties and begin to live more consciously creative, effective, empowered lives. So today I want to talk about all this popcorn coming up in terms of emotions and moods and anxiety and memories and flashbacks and things that you thought, why am I feeling this? This is not who I want to be. This is not how I want to feel. What is happening? So if you find and you are experiencing a lot of unanticipated mood swings or emotional flashbacks, just recognize that what is happening is an energetic purge that is part of our global elevation, our ascension to a higher frequency. Now, I've talked about this before, but I want to mention it again. We are not ascending out of our bodies are not lifting off to another planet. We're not moving into outer space or off into heaven. We are elevating our energy to a higher bandwidth, to a higher frequency, ascending to live at a more heart-based, open-minded, connected state of being. That's what the fourth and fifth dimension consciousness means. It doesn't mean we are beaming off the planet and out of our skin and out of our shoes. It means we are leaving behind the heavy, wounded, dense energies, experiences, emotions, and conditioning that has kept us feeling so disempowered, so wounded, hurt, weak, unsupported, lonely, ineffective, powerless, and lost. So, if you are feeling these things, again, I want to say, you're not losing your mind. You know, if you wake up in the morning, and this is a particular time that this happens, you might go to sleep. Maybe you're lucky to get through the entire night without waking up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock like most of us are, but no matter whether you do or not, have you noticed that when you wake up in the morning, there's this cloud of dread? that you can't quite put your finger on. It's like, oh, why do I feel so unhappy, uncomfortable, anxious? This is some of that emotion purging out of your unconscious and kind of hovering in your energy body. And again, it's not for you to review necessarily or, God forbid, relive. No, it's for you to release. So how do we do that? Now, there's a lot of ways to do it, but the first way to do it is put your hand on the heart, one on the belly, and start breathing in through the nose. And really exhale like you're blowing it away. Just exhale. Once you wake up a little bit, don't get interested in all that feeling. Don't give it importance. Don't fear it. Say, okay, time to move it on. You want to get it out of your nervous system. This is old emotion. And you know what's interesting? It might not even be yours. It might just be the household emotion, or if you're in an apartment building, the collective emotion, the general tone of the planet just hovering like a dense cloud of pollution. So you can take a shower. That's something in the morning a lot of people have the good fortune to do. Let's be grateful if that is part of our reality. And when you're in the shower, move and shake your body and let your sound out. Ah. And see this energy lifting and washing away. You can also stand and shake your body and move like this and listen to some drumming music. You can get on your Spotify or your iTunes, whatever, and put on drumming music or shamanic, but we want drumming, energetic or rock and roll. But music without vocalized, lyrics is really better, just to shake it out because you're releasing it from your nervous system. And yeah, your logic brain is going to go, that's crazy. But this is actually a technique that many people, many doctors and scientists recommend for trauma. This is stuck stuff that has traumatized you in the past, and this is a way to purge it. So movement, sound, letting it out, and water. The other thing you can do is you can take a pillow and punch it. Now, we often punch with our words, causing trouble and drama with other people, but we can take a pillow and just punch that pillow, bam, 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 just right on your bed, and that lets the energy move on. That's the goal. Now, your logic's brain could very well say, I'm not going to do any of that. But what I encourage you to do is approach this a bit differently. Like, okay, maybe not, but is what you are doing you any good? Because all of this is easy, it's free, it's fast, and it's effective. So we want to get on board with moving this energy. So now I want to talk about how to get on board with waking up your energy body, elevating your consciousness, going to a higher frequency, becoming open-minded, more empowered, more creative, more intuitive, and more connected. So we have a couple of things I want to examine today. And the first is, I want to really talk about mindset. What's your mindset? Are you really stuck on being stuck? Are you really stuck on old habits and doing things the old way? I was talking with a client and saying, you really ought to shake and rattle and roll and move to some drumming music. And she said, well, that's not me. And I said, well, that's not me is not actually true. It's just not your habit. The habit you have of being the old stuck you. Maybe it's a part of you. It's a me you haven't discovered yet. So this is part of your mindset. If your mindset is, I'm a fixed, cooked goose and I can't change, you won't. Because your own intentions and your own perceptions decide what your experience will be. So if you have the mindset of, well, that's interesting, I'm curious, that's easy enough, let me give it a try, see what happens. Opening your mind moving to the fourth dimension, which is includes opening your mind and having a bit of a sense of adventure and discovery on this. It's like, okay, I'll give this a try, because when you're locked down, when your energies are contracted, your habits are fixed, your mindset is closed, energy gets blocked. And actually, and part of what happens when your energy is blocked, big part, is that you lose power. You lose the available energy you need to create. Like, have you ever wondered, why are my intentions never coming around, or why are my visions and my affirmations, why don't they work? And maybe it's because like water flowing, you have a trickle, because it's so clogged with a mindset that says, I'm not empowered, I don't do this, I don't like that, don't bug me, don't make noise, don't move, don't change, don't open your energy, don't release, don't be different, basically. So the mindset needs to be, I'm curious. I am an energetic body. I am an energetic being. And if my energy is all trapped and stuck, then I need to release it. This isn't woo-woo. It's quantum physics. It's therapy for trauma. This is backed up by conscious people who are doing a lot of investigation on our nervous system and on our energy body. So let's give it a go. So if even these things are just a bit much for your more conservative, shy nature, then there's some other things you can do. One of those things, believe it or not, is to work either, if you're a cook, work with baking or dough or bread, kneading it out, punching it down. Or if you're a gardener, you can also actually go into the yard, dig up the dirt, put your hands in it. It pulls that energy out of your body. It really does change and pull out this old stuff. So those are some more creative ways. Now, you're thinking, still not speaking to me. There's another thing you can do. Get a piece of paper, white paper, and a box of colors, and then you just start with both hands coloring, because you're still expressing. If you have old moods and depression and heavy energy, just color it out. And you can also put on music at the same time and just sing it out with sound and tone. La, 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 la. You are moving old energy. So we'll go back to that mindset. If your mindset is, I'm willing to give it a try, and I'm willing to see what happens, and I'm willing to view myself as an energetic person who needs to change my energy, then this all becomes very appealing, very, very attractive, very, very encouraging. Who doesn't want to lighten up? Then we go to the next piece, which is motivation. Because the truth is, in our ascension process, in our elevating our consciousness, we have to do something different. And interestingly enough, the human habit is, I don't want to do anything different. I'm not motivated. I have what's in it for me? So I actually think it's beneficial to start acknowledging, recognizing what is in it for you, to let some of this heavy energy and these old agitations and these mood swings and these free-floating anxieties and depression and worry go. Well, I think the biggest thing that's in it for you is that you'll feel present and better. So, are you motivated to feel present and better? You know, we have the habit of being in a funk. We don't just have the experience, it's a habit. And we have to be motivated to be more joyful. So what would be the payoff of being a little bit happier? What would be the payoff? Well, some of the things that would pay you off is that you will have a better effect on the people around you. So maybe your relationships would improve a little or a lot, because the energy we emote, we vibrate out, is going to be met. So if we're putting out bad vibes, we're going to be met with bad vibes. And again, don't dismiss this as woo-woo. This is quantum physics. I just read an article the other day that said emotions are one of the most influential energies in the infectious, that's the word I'm thinking of all of everything that we have is our emotions. Like, have you ever walked in a room where there was just a fight? Of course you're going to feel it unless you're completely checked out. Have you ever witnessed someone having a joyful time and you can't help but smile? You can't help but feel it, even if you don't want to. So the motivation that maybe my relationships would improve, maybe my health would improve. That's another big motivation, that somehow your health will get better. It just won't be so stressful and heavy. Maybe the motivation is that you'll just sleep better. That's another one. And here's a big motivation. If I don't have stress, worry, fear, anxiety, heaviness, what I'm replaced with is creativity, inspiration, intuition. I start finding answers and getting great downloads and getting inspired. And I get with that, guess what? Confidence. That's another big one. Confidence. So we change our mindset and we start naming our motivation. But then the third thing that we have to think about is, if you have the right mindset and the right motivation, you still have to do something. If you want to change your vibration, you have to do something different. And you have to do something that, what I've noticed in terms of differences, the little things we do different will be more consistent with than if we ask ourselves to do big things that are different. Little differences are more consistent and more immediately rewarding. So that's why if you're feeling dread, if you're feeling anxiety, if you find yourself irritable, if you find yourself reactive, you find yourself triggered, all these things you thought you got over, the idea again, don't relive, don't even review, release. What a concept. I'm going to release this, and I'm going to release it with sound, energy, and movement. So that's the third M. Let's move that energy. So we have mindset. I'm going to actually level up and be someone who can grow and be more intuitive, more creative, more present, more empowered, more effective. I have the right motivation. I'm going to create what I want instead of be stuck, left behind, sickened, lonely. Everybody thinks I'm funky and have no good vibes. And I'm going to move my body and my energy in a new way. One of the easiest ways to move your energy is with music. You can either create your own and sing, or you can listen to music, but I don't recommend the blues for this purpose anyway. But you can use music that has drumming because it gets you into your body. And when you're in your body, all this bad energy moves out, because when you're disconnected from your body, all this squatter energy of negativity of everybody moves in. So I'm going to purge, let it go. And the reward is that I'm going to be more present. I'm going to be physically healthier. I am going to be more clear in my mind. I'm going to sleep better. I'm going to have better relationships. I'm going to feel my intuition, and I'm going to have more power to manifest in the ways that I want to manifest. It's a process, guys. And just when the world seems like it's getting darker and darker, it's only because the brighter lights are starting to shed much more light on the shadows. So ignore the shadows and get connected to the light in you and find all these ways to release the things that have kept it darkened. So that's my message for today. We can work through and change our lives through motivation, through change of mindset, motivation, to moving that energy in new ways. And we can do it in some really fun, simple, exciting ways that bring about big energetic rewards. Again, this old blocked energy that's coming up is time to release. And the reward is you are going to be more conscious, more creative, far more available to your inner guidance, and more empowered to create what you want. If you like this, conversation and you'd like to come back, please subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, share it. We're in a big shift right now. And by taking it bit by bit, action by action, decision by decision, we all can shift together in a much more beautiful, graceful way. So I'm Sonia Choquette. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. All my love.